Hello everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to look at how to create an NFT from scratch, going from the sketch process all the way to the final minting of the NFT itself. So I've created a sketch for the next character in my series of Dead by 13, which is a trading card series based on the NFT platform, and it's available in OpenSea. You can check it out on leaguerace.com. I've got a lot of NFTs starting to build up there within the Dead by 13 trading card series, which you can purchase on OpenSeas. And as I'm building up to the final pack, I'll go through the process of each one, hopefully, and give tutorials on just what I'm doing within Procreate and also on the minting process within OpenSea itself. This is the latest character for the Phobos unit, which is one of the units in the world of Dead by 13, which is a post-apocalyptic setting. The Phobos unit are kind of a clandestine, mysterious, slightly more technologically advanced clan within the universe. They're not as kind of techno-barbarian focused as the other guys. Better technology for the most part, and a little bit of mysterious nature to them because they never show their faces. So this guy is new character. I think I'm going to call him Melt or something to that effect. He's got a flamethrower on his back based on the Wex flamethrower from World War I on the German side. Just for the circular part, then he has a hazmat suit on with some armor plates. I wanted this to be a really heavy over-the-top flamethrower, so it's got over-exaggerated parts on it, kind of a little bit more technologically advanced, as I mentioned. He's clearly weighed down moving this thing, and it's going to have your kind of black and white striping on it here. As I mentioned before, keeping sketches rough and ready is how I like to work before bringing into Photoshop or Procreate, either or. But I never really have to go into too much detail, to be honest with you. It saves a lot of time, gets my ideas down fast, and then I can refine when I'm in Procreate itself. So for example, if I want to change up the straps there, or change any part, I can do so, and I've got the base layer to work with. So we want to bring this into Procreate next and get working on it. All I need to do is just take a photograph of it and bring it across to Procreate. Very simple. Okay, so the next stage is to scan in, or take a photograph, should I say, of our illustration. Now normally what I do is just take a straight on picture and then airdrop it directly to my iPad, which I've done already, like so. That's exactly what I need, straight on, and I can bring that now into Procreate. Okay, the next thing we want to do is open up Procreate, and we want to create a new canvas. So normally what I do is, when I do one illustration that's going to be on the same kind of size basis, I just repeat it, duplicate it, and use that as a base template every time. So for example, if I look at the last illustration, I'm just going to copy this and use it as my base. So I'll just go back to gallery, swipe to the left and hit duplicate. So that gives me a duplicate. So I'll just go in here, I'll just rename this, I'll just call it Melt. Okay, click that. So now we have that duplicate, we can just remove anything we don't need. So I have certain layers in already that I already keep to the top, and that's going to be in nearly every illustration. So for example, my logo, a texture that I'm using throughout this specific project, and also other little bits and pieces. Now what I can do is just go down and just swipe left and delete all the way up, get rid of the ink layer, get rid of that smoke. Okay, so now we have the base layer, which is the background color as well, the inserted image of the texture, and the inserted image of my brand, my logo. So that goes there like that. So what I want to do next is bring in the new sketch that we just did. So I go to the tool up here, the ratchet tool, and go to add, insert a photo, and then pick where it is in your library. Okay, so now you can see it's got coming in, and it's got the marquee tool around it, so it means you can scale it up, either uniform, freeform, you can distort it or warp it. Now, I like to keep it uniform, obviously, just we don't want to distort this in any way, shape or form at the moment.
I'm just going to bring it up like so until it fills the canvas to the point where you're not losing any on the edges, but that's fine. That'll do. It's kind of going to the extremities there. I'm fine with that. So I'm just going to click the blue arrow again and zoom out. Perfect. So next, I want to just remove anything that, just get it visually out of the way. So I'm just going to get rid of my hand. I'm just going to hit the eraser tool up here and just kind of rub out what I don't want. Okay. Next then, I'll just get rid of the texture because we won't be needing it just yet. I'm going to change the background color by clicking on it to a white. Next step is I'll click on the inserted image. Now, depending on how you want to be for organization purposes, you can rename this to scan or whatever you want to call it, photograph. It's up to yourself. I like to work fast, so I'm not worried about that side of things. Next, I want to go to, with that layer selected of the inserted image, I'm going to go to the adjustments here. I'm going to go down to curves. And I'm just going to bring the curves so that bring it up to the top like that. I just want this nice, and just want to get the sketch lines a lot darker. Just like so. That'll do. Next then, I want to go over here to the little N symbol. Now, N means normal. So if you click that, you can see that you've got your normal layer, so there's no effects on it. Of course, then you have all the other effects that you may see in Photoshop, which be multiply, darken, linear burn, etc, etc, screen. All the good guys are there from Photoshop. But I'm just going to keep it on normal. I want to bring the opacity down to where it's not totally gone, but I want it just about enough so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, great. So now that is going to be my reference layer. I'm going to hold and drag it down like so. So it's just above the background color. The next thing I want to do is to add a new layer. So I'm going to add a new layer like this. And this is going to be my ink layer. So again, if you wish, you can just rename it. I'm going to rename this ink. Perfect. Now, what I'm going to do now is start to ink up the illustration bit by bit. So what I like to do is start off with my favorite brush, which is Syrup. It's probably the one that I use 99% of the time, I'd say. It's just a real versatile brush. I like how it handles. So we're going to pick that, and again, you don't have to pick black. You can pick any other color you wish, but I'm just going to pick black here, and that is going to be our pen that we're going to use. And as you can see, it's just nice and responsive. I'll undo that. And size wise, then we can just bring down the size percentage here. Okay, now we have our illustration into Procreate ready to go. It's on its own layer, so we can check the layers there now. Ink layer. You can lock that layer if you want. So depending on how you like to work and what kind of brush you're using, this will be all dependent on certain factors throughout. As I said, I'm using the Syrup brush, just like how it flows. I've tried other brushes which are very good as well, but the Syrup brush just has a nice kind of, it kind of gets fat and gets thin, and just nice control on it. So this is laying down the ink layer, which I do as close to the final as possible. Double tap with your two fingers to undo as well. You can just get back like that. In case you make a mistake, I'll just do that again, like that. Hit with the two fingers, and it goes back. So sometimes when I'm drawing over a sketch, I might see something to go, you know, that's terrible, or I didn't like the way that worked, and just change it on the fly. So I'm kind of adding in extra bits here now, like the notch where the belt goes in. So as I said, this guy doesn't have a, we're not going to be showing his face, so if it's not perfect, again, I don't dwell on it, because you see sometimes you can just sit there and just undo, redo, and drive yourself nuts. The best thing to do, I find, is just undo it once or twice and then just move on and go back and refine it. You can always do that. So even now I'm going probably slower than I normally would, because I'm obviously doing the tutorials, so I'll be much faster than this in just doing it normally. Okay, let's get the... Okay, so that's the armor. So I'm a big fan of Warhammer 40,000, and there is Astartes himself by the amazing Samuel Peterson. If you haven't seen Astartes by himself, he's a 3D modeler. I hope I say his name right, but it is one of the best pieces of 3D animation you'll ever see, and it's all done by one man. It's phenomenal, so check it out. So the gloves in there, the gloves need a little bit of they're probably going to be rubber based gloves, so give a little bit of curve to them. So bring it into folds. A lot of heavy folding in here. Again, I'm going back, probably fix this. But what I was saying about the armor was the shoulder pads. Just, I love that Astartes kind of, you always have shoulder pads, bigger ones than this, but it's just that got that nice kind of end to it here, you know, that kind of like large piece. I just like putting that in whenever I'm doing armor. Or shoulder pads. Okay, so again, that's going in like that. Let's bring down, and we'll get to the flamer a good bit. So as I mentioned earlier on, the flamer is going to be really heavy, industrial, kind of futuristic looking thing. So we're going to get some sharp lines here, and the beauty about Procreate is that it can auto-generate the sharp lines for you without having to do anything specific like hold down Shift in Photoshop or anything like that. So all you have to do is draw a line while keeping held on the screen, hold down at the end, and it creates a perfectly dead straight line, which once you're holding, you can move it around like that. So it's really handy. And once you're happy with the, I'm not happy with that, I'll just go back a bit. Once you're happy with the look of it, yes, I think that's, yeah, that'll do for now. Once you're happy with that, you can just leave go and it'll give you a perfect line. And the same works for spheres and circles. So you have, if you start drawing a circle or a half circle, you'll get a semicircle, you'll get it like this, where it will do a nice curve, nice clean crisp curve. I'm not taking my finger off the tablet yet, and I'm just going to let it down to where I think I want it, about there. So it's going to look kind of like a cylinder effect, and then I can just draw a line meeting that up. Okay, same applies for circles. This is where Procreate excels. You just draw a circle, hold down, and you get this lovely circle. And it's not perfect in that instance, but you can get it very close to perfect, and you just get it. It just saves you a lot of time. Okay, so flamer is being built. So this is what I am thinking of. Now his thumb. Is that correct? Yeah, now normally I'd reference hands, but in this instance I'm just going to just kind of go with it, because he's wearing gloves, and I find with gloves you can just get away with so much more as opposed to hands. So hands are just the bane of many an artist's life. And I know some people love it, but I've always had difficulty with hands. Okay, the extra tube now, I'm going to do it slightly 3D, so it's kind of coming off a piece. Like that. So I'm going to try and put this piece here now and extend the grip. It's kind of like a shotgun grip almost. Again, I don't know, I might refine that. And we just square this piece off a bit. Or tighten it up and then come around and back again. I don't know if that's going to work, but I'll figure that out. Again, this is just kind of like figuring out as I go along what I'm going to do. Okay. So maybe this could be like a, I don't know, some sort of a pull, like a lever or something like that, or something like you just pull like that. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell too long on that side of it. I'm just going to come back out. Now I'm just going to draw the black hazard lines. Well, again, I'll figure that piece out. This is going to be just a big industrial kind of tube. This is normally the way I do most of my exit tubes like this, just going like that. It's not to be exact. Okay, and then I can just go along, do all these bits. Just give the impression that there's, you know, some creasing going on there. Fast forward this bit. Okay, so onto the knee area, and I just want to get a lot of fabric, a lot of it's kind of loose, it's very loose clothing here. Again, he's really stuck in the mud. This could be just like a little wire from the, actually, I think a trench coat might be cool. Just looking at the way that's going down there now, so change of plan. Maybe just kind of have a flowing trench coat coming off this. Bit of it. Again, this is kind of like changing on the fly. Being a bit versatile. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to make the boots look like they're that old kind of musketeer, kind of Wellington. So this guy's, it's kind of the overhang. So it's overhanging slightly. And you can really see the mud then just kind of caking on there like that. The mud, same here. Well, he was going behind slightly behind, so I might change that now. It's going slightly behind the kind of the background there, but we'll just change that. We'll just start to put in a bit of the background. Like so. And yeah. Okay, I think now what I need to do is just make this look a little bit more, laden. It's kind of like real. The fabric's really down. He's on his haunches, just, or whatever you call it. He's just down really low. Yeah, I like the way he's shaping up. He's shaping up okay. And you can always check then, turn off the layer below and just see how your ink is coming along. Not too bad. Getting there. We can start to tidy up as well as we get on a bit more. This is the badge that I'm going to have in the middle. And I might just put in a little bit of something here for the moment, just for, it's probably changed that, but okay. Next is the piece here, and I've kind of in the sketch I've drawn it a bit off, so I'm just going to fix that slightly. Yeah, still a little bit off there. Fix it again. So I like the muzzle brakes and things like that on weapons that are kind of over the top, sometimes a little bit ridiculous. In this case is one. So it's kind of one with a lot of air on it, air hole. And then we need our little place where the gas comes out and fires up the flamethrower. So that's got to be connected to the actual flamethrower itself. So we need to add in another piece of some sorts. Gee, do you know what? I think this just needs to be slightly longer, like this. Let it go into a tube. I want this then to be a big tube going into there. This is just how it's held in place. So what it is, and this might make sense, is this is the igniter tube here, where this is maybe just putting a little bit of flame into that, and this spits out the fuel. So yeah, that'll do. I'm probably way off in realistic terms, but look, this is the future anyway, so tough. So I'm just gonna straight up this guy a little bit here. Yeah, looks okay. Oh, my screen. There we go. Okay, so then the tubing is going to come out like this and pop into there. Okay, just starting to find this hand a little bit more. It looks like it just needs a little bit more showing the glove coming out the back kind of thing. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. For the moment, and then now zoom back out, get a kind of a relook at it again, see if we can. I'm happy with the overall ink outline. It's coming along quite nice. So I'm just going to draw on a bit of my own shadow. Now what I do is I do my own kind of like this line shadow, and then I also do multiplied opacity shadow to add to it.
there's lots of comic book artists that use, well, different varying levels of all this, and like Mobius would be, Mobius would be probably the best I've ever seen anyway. He's a all-time classic. So now I'm just going to do this part here, so it looks like it's 3D. It's just a shadow. You can really zoom in then and just reduce the size of our brush down to see if we can get the inside there like that. There we go. Okay, a little bit more refinement on certain bits and pieces. Now all I'm doing with the slider there is just using my left finger to push it up and down to get the size that I want, and that suits me perfect. Now there is a way of keeping the size relative as you zoom in and zoom out, but I tried it, it wasn't for me, so I like to keep it like this. I like putting a bit of thick border sometimes on the characters too. Okay. Here now, I'm just going to finish off the connection between the two areas here. The small details is what I really like, to show that you're actually thinking, oh yeah, that's supposed to be connected to that, or that's supposed to be connected there. So if you're thinking something like this, maybe it'll be connected on by kind of like a bolt, something like that. So this is the bolt, he's coming out, and maybe some sort of a knob section here just to twist. Actually what we can put here is one of those gas levers, or gas, I don't know what you call them, gas knobs. That kind of go like this, so you can imagine that he leaves out gas and leaves in gas via this. So we'll probably colour that red. Hopefully the people will know what the hell it is. Okay. Yeah, I don't need the base layer anymore, so I'm just going to turn it off. And the inking is almost done. Now it's just a case of going in and really going on fine detail patrol. Now his shoulder pad is actually not right there, so I need to bring that across a bit more. So now we can add in any kind of symbols or motifs or anything that I've kind of got going on in the DB13 universe. I've been using number 13 a lot, of course, and different units and different clans use it differently, so the Phobos unit I don't think as much, if not at all, because they're mainly the antagonists, these guys. So they're normally numerical based, around like faction, platoons and things like that. So I'm just going to yeah, just going to do something around that there. Okay, let's clean up this a little bit. Now I'm just going to put in these over-exaggerated holes for the belt. Maybe not one there, just a couple. Something like this. Can maybe put across a bridge of material like that, and maybe a bridge of material like that there. Now, because this guy's a Flammenwerfer style guy, he needs a bit more tubes and wires coming out of it, I think. So I'm going to do a nice large one coming from here to the back, and make it like so it's feeding in somehow into the mechanism. This is almost like a fuel gauge here that we could use. This piece, so it could work really well actually. So I'm just doing a full and an empty letter. Full, empty. If I can get it in there. Excuse me, and maybe just show the liquid there. And that might be a nice little touch, so that this guy then will know exactly how much he's got left in his tank. Yeah. Perhaps the glove could do with a bit of a heat gauge or something like that. So again, I'm going to just rough it up a little bit. So I just want to kind of give him a heat gauge so he'll know the temperature or whatever is going on outside. Now I've just held down on the pen again to get that circle going, and excuse me, I'll just kind of like a Pip Boy he's got, and I'll just make some gauge going on in there, perhaps like this, and we can put in the middle. I can just show that in red again, that it's a counter unit. These are little units then. Breaking it down, and we can put down degrees maybe. Or just some sort of symbol, I don't know. There we go, that'll do. Okay, now just on the piece itself here, the gun, I'm just going to add in some nicks and just imperfections a little bit there. You know, on the other clans, they have a lot of stickers and funny kind of things on them, but I don't think these guys have that as much. So a little bit more serious. I'm just going to make this guy a musketeer kind of style glove as well. So it comes around like this. Just don't like the way that ended there, so let's rub this out. Could overlap a little bit, probably a bit more actually. Yes, like that, and there we go. Okay. Okay, so just going to finish off on the last bits there. There we go. More or less. Not too bad. I'm going to finish up there now on that. Zoom in there now, if it'll let me. I think my iPad is frozen a bit. It has. look at him. That hand is not working for me. Something about the way it is. So it's asking to go into a trigger position. It's just not looking right. So I'm going to rub that out. And have it looking like it's running around trigger finger now. It's a little bit more. Okay, this is asking for something else, and I know what it is now. Because of the crazy world that it is set in, this guy's going to be smoking a cigarette. So, just the way his fingers are kind of there now, it's asking for a cigarette to be come out. I think it would sit perfectly with the look of it, and I think that finger needs to be just a little bit more hooked in, like so. Okay, that'll give us a good idea anyway. Getting there. I think we need more refinement on it, but the thumb is going to have to come out here as well, I think. Might need to reference it a little bit better, but there we go. Yeah, so look, that is the, for the most part, the inking done. In video 2, I'll show you how we bring it into colour and get some finer details as well and get it ready for export. Thanks very much.